what does Little Mix, Foreheads, and Stoke City have in common? Funnily enough, it's the Greek club Aris.
You're Greek, you dance!
Greek football has been dominated by 3 clubs. AEK Athens with 13 league titles, Panathinaikos with 20, and Olympiakos with bloody 47. Then there's a pair on 3, PAOK and Aris, who are both based in Thessaloniki, a city in northern Greece, and of course, I got the club that hasn't won a trophy since 1970.
Oh man.
Casuals might know about PAOK, but not Aris, which is fair based on recent history. But Aris won the first ever Greek league. Although, it's not a great look when Wikipedia mentions an era ending in 1950 as the golden years, while more recent periods as the stone years. Didn't realize we were going backwards in time. Nevertheless, with new ownership in the mid-2010s, the club has improved since promotion to the Super League in 2018, and have been getting some European experience by making qualifiers. So with a bunch of Premier League rejects, manager Haralambos Sokrates was confident in defeating Sparta Prague.
He told me he was going to beat me and go to
the Conference League.
Now the manager that looks like a failed cosplay of Wayne Lineker had a burst of rage after the second leg confirmed Aris' elimination from the Conference League. Most of the players took it fine, but Juan Iturbe took it personally. A once promising Argentine hadn't had the best of times since his $22.5 million move to Roma. I remember him being a fun player on FIFA Ultimate Team, but when he walked into the office, those nice memories faded away quickly. You were a bit harsh towards the team against Sparta Prague, and I'm concerned about that. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. What the crap does it even mean? I'm just saying there's no need to worry. I think you're in denial about this role in this issue. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you. I don't think I can drop this issue so easily. We haven't even started the league season. Why are you so pissed off? I'm not sure I can work with a manager who treats his players like this. The guy then decided he was leaving at the end of his contract. A tad dramatic one, is what I thought. The rumors began to swirl, and the entire squad suddenly became pissed off as well. I checked the dynamics, and the support to me is very poor, the club atmosphere is poor, and the team cohesion is abysmal. Oh my days, he's part of the core social group. Let's explain some things. Normally, a happy football environment means more positive results. However, the anger can easily transfer from one to another, especially when there are 3 others pissed about not being registered in Conference League qualifiers, all of whom are in the same social group. These are like cliques. Similar backgrounds, personalities, languages tend to stick with each other. Unlucky to Gervinho. Angering the core group leads to these dynamics plummeting, which can negatively affect how you perform in game. So Juan had to be sold, which he was, for $1.1 million to Bristol City. Luis Palma would also be loaned out. Adding to the guys already here was Ahmed El Mohammadi to continue the Premier League reject vibe. Then Brian Aguirre arrived on loan from Newell Old Boys, Mamadou Doucouré added depth to the back for $170k, and Juan Soriano joined to take over the #1 spot in net. After the Iturbe sale, everything became calmer, but not perfect. It'll take some time to build all this back up, and winning football matches is the easiest way to do so. The plan was working, as the forehead scored on his first attempt.
What you gonna do?
I mentioned how dynamics can impact how you play, and team cohesion may be the most important one. This red bar heavily impacts player positioning, plus significant issues with their vision and reactions to events unfolding. That really happened as it said. A draw on opening day against a side that isn't too strong. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to check out another one after this one ends. I've done several series already, and I think you'll like those too. Alright, back to the video. I must have been isekai'd into another world with my Pictionary, because no matter how many times I play Football Manager, this box keeps becoming relevant. 4 draws to start out the campaign, which on the bright side means we're undefeated. However, against the quality of opponents where there is a big drop off from the top 5 or 6 teams, this wasn't looking good going into our first derby of Thessaloniki. PAOK are filled with some former promising players too. This includes definitely going to be Portugal's #9 Nelson Oliveira, the Serbian Messi Andrija Zivkovic, and one of 72 former Brazilians who played for Shakhtar Donetsk, Tyson. They do have a couple of prospects, such as Yannis Constantelas. In the match itself, none of the names mentioned scored. Instead, our backup center back Fabiano nodded a header just after halftime. we conceded literally a minute later. Set pieces turned into sad pieces, as later on, Chroo won a header again, leading to Nare getting the rebound off the bar. Despite playing well, the pitchforks were out for Sokrates. This is a fixture he can't lose again in the future, and it wouldn't get better with Athens away post the international break. But during that was when more problems arrived. Sokrates went on a holiday to distress himself, but when he got back, a player who hadn't played a single game due to injury caused increased turmoil in the dressing room. Former Norwich player Lucas Rupp was supposedly homesick and wanted to visit his family or something. Now, I understand that culture shock is a real thing. What the? But it's not like Thessaloniki's a shithole. Due to not wanting to piss off the squad, I had to give him a leave of absence for 27 days. So this guy has been here for 3 months and has earned £63,000 net to do nothing. Focusing on Athens, they're managed by Argentine Matias Almeida, a fairly strong side anchored at the back by Vida, Iwabi's Italian friend, opening the scoring. Annoying, but very delicious. It was a great start, which led to the dish assisting Zuber. We needed a different Prem reject to step up, and Gervinho knew the man. Camera, take a picture of that. If you're a Fulham fan, you know a bit of the clownery of this man. I remember he pissed off Claudio Ranieri because he took a pen instead of Mitrovic, which you should never do, and he got stopped.
I want to kill him.
Then later in the month, he was, let me quote Wikipedia, arrested at the club's training ground on suspicion of actual bodily harm and criminal damage. What the hell is this team? Nevertheless, Gervinho was found in a wide position again, but despite an unsuccessful cross, it ended back at Camera. And let's take another picture of that. Despite Vida smacking the bar, a draw was earned in a tough fixture. The turnaround was on. Just kidding, we still have abysmal team cohesion. That led to us barely scraping a draw versus Ofi, with 2 conceded in the first 11 minutes, losing to Panathinaikos after Sporar's brace, stealing a draw in the 95th minute versus Panatolikos, and losing to Volos with their only shot on target. 10 matches to start the season, with 3 draws, 7 losses, and 0 wins. Even better, undefeated Olympiacos was next.
That's what you like, right?
Olympiacos, managed by Michel, who played for Madrid for 14 years, had a lot of talent at his disposal, just not Marcelo. However, the star was James Rodriguez, a player whose career was destined for stardom.
My word, this boy's a star!
Now had him in Greece at age 31. First versus 12th would normally have a single outcome. Yet, it was Olympiacos who made the opening mistake. A cross from a throw-in seemed innocent, but their keeper completely missed the ball, seeing Lazaro Christodopoulos open the scoring. The 36-year-old, who looks like a total badass, knows a thing or two about Olympiacos. He also knows a thing or two about all the other big Greek clubs, since he played for every single one. This man and loyalty have no correlation, as despite being part of PAOK for 8 years, he stated that it'd be better to be a construction worker than playing for them. The media nicknamed the Mustachio Wonder the Builder, but I'll call him Lazaros because that last name is so damn long. Lazaros should have had a second against Olympiacos, but that didn't matter, as they couldn't break down their back line, as we finally won a football match. This was the turning point, with a 4-0 win over Ionikos occurring 3 days later, only to draw Lavadiakos before the World Cup break.
Oh well, it was nice while it lasted, right?
After 13 matches, Aris were 9th, but 6 points behind an important 6th place spot. Why is that, you may ask? Well, once you play every opponent twice, the league splits into 2 groups. The top 6 form the championship group, where if you finish in the top 5, you get a European qualifying spot. Each opponent plays one another twice. Meanwhile, the remaining 8 go into the relegation group, where the bottom 2 get demoted to a lower tier. They only play with each other once. Clearly, we wanted a top 6 spot, but didn't help ourselves with our start. Yet, the recovery was going on, and with the World Cup concluding, seeing England defeat the USA in the final? What? Aris got 3 wins in a row, heading into the new year in 6th place, the highest the club has been all season. With a match versus Atromitos at home, it was necessary to get the W with these upcoming fixtures. Our opponents weren't in good form, which makes a lot of sense as they scored this in the 6th minute. I was waiting for a response to happen, and Lazaros' brilliant pass to Aguirre nearly equalized the affair. Despite our opponents only having 0.13 expected goals, we didn't do enough ourselves, putting a brick wall in front of our momentum. I swear, Lazaros, you're not becoming a construction worker now. That dropped us out of 6th, with our rivals PAOK next. they just stunned Olympiacos, so making our first visit to the Tumba Stadium wasn't going to be easy, and our keeper Juan Soriano had to make some big saves early. A difficult start, but we can't forget that we have the forehead. The Ivorian took the lead, only to see his teammates concede the most garbage of goals. Although, I'd argue El Mohammadi was pushed. Alright, let's do it ourselves then. Gervinho and Andre Gray cooking the finest of Greek dishes today. Pauk were getting a lot of shots, but Gervinho wasn't finished. They're trying to play long, but El Mohammadi on it to Gervinho, the forehead. What a lob! What a victory! But Ofi kept us out of 6th place. Them and Asteras were overperforming, and after Ike Athens ruined our chance at victory with a somewhat late Mukudi equalizer, we played the mentioned Ofi. Lucky to not go down prior to halftime, our opponents kept up the pressure and took the lead in the 56th minute. They nearly doubled it, but we had another trick up our sleeve: throw-ins. Somewhat frequently, teams can't defend them, including this one seeing Aguirre equalize. Regrettably, we have defenders that can't consistently defend well, who also can't jump as high as Luis Felipe. A loss that was in the middle of 3 fixtures against Panathinaikos, 2 of which were in the Greek Cup, since that competition has each round having 2 legs, until the final. We were unfortunately no match for the almighty Andres Pecoraro, who scored 3 across the legs, eliminating us 4-3 on aggregate. We then got an opportunity for revenge, but instead conceded a dubious penalty and responded with nothing. The consequences of that result saw our best defender Brabants leave for an offer too good to refuse, relative to Greek finances. Mateo Garcia was sold too for $1 million, but he wasn't much of a miss. With the money received, 2 players came in, Morgala from 1860 Munchen and Infantino.
Today I feel
like having hair. They won't play a big part this season, but keep your eye out on them in the future. With 5 league matches left in the first phase, the last spot was going to be between us or Pauk. The Thessalonikian rivals were both in terrible form, seeing us lose to Panatolikos, while Pauk did the same to Levadiakos. However, their defeat to Atromitos was huge. Aris took advantage by defeating Volos with goals from Lazaros, Gervinho, and Andre Gray. Another guy with a controversial past, but you'd hope somebody over time changes and learns. From interviews I read, he seems to have done that, but it doesn't mean he was going to be great on the football pitch versus Olympiacos. That wasn't helped by Ducure's red card, although that was after they went 2-0 up. Pauk sadly defeated Ionikos, bringing the point gap up to 5. The remaining 2 fixtures were tough on paper, but that didn't matter, as we lost to Ionikos ourselves and missed out on the championship group as well as Europe. I don't need to go into the relegation group too much, and that's not because we ball finishing on top due to a loss at home to Pasianina on the final day. More so, there was nothing to play for considering relegation was not a threat. This was Aris' worst campaign in the Souvlaki nation since the relegation in 2014. Andre Gray finished as the team's top scorer, Lazaros with the most assists, and Gervinho scoring 8 himself. Thankfully, we were not sacked. With Ike Athens winning the championship over Olympiacos, they ended their streak of league titles, resulting in their managers sacking. There's still a lot to learn about Greek football, so hopefully next season is a massive improvement.
Today, you pick Shevchenko.